Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to create your own value scale. First, you'll need to get a piece of paper, and at the very top of it, you'll need to write value scale. Be creative with the way that you word it. You'll also be needing to write your name and period at the very top right corner. We're going to be showing 5 different techniques on how to create value in different ways. And so on our value scale paper, you're going to use a ruler or some sort of straight edge tool, and you're going to be creating 6 lines going from top to bottom vertically, all the way from the top to the bottom. The sixth and final column is going to be for the name of the specific technique. So if you don't have a ruler, you can use some sort of a straight edge like a binder or notebook, as long as they're evenly spaced out and there's 6 of them going across your paper. Now we're going to be starting to work on the horizontal lines. Remember that we have 5 techniques that we're showing. So you're going to be essentially creating 5 horizontal columns going across your paper, just so there's enough space. Again, you're using a straight edge ruler and you're kind of eyeing it. You want to give your chart or your spaces in your chart enough space. And so it could be about 1.5 inches to 1 inch wide. And again, it all kind of varies. At the very top, as you just saw, I made a small column so I can write just a few indications for my graph. So once you get your straight edge going, you just need 5 columns going across your paper. Now that you have all your lines made for your value scale chart, you're going to be using a black marker. I suggest a black Sharpie marker to outline all your pencil marks that you just made. Don't worry about it being perfect. It honestly does not have to be perfect. I'll be looking for details on your value scale when you're actually adding your value. As far as the actual value scale itself, I just want it to be a chart. But honestly, if you can come up with a creative way to create a value scale where it's not squares or some sort of linear chart like this, if you think of like small little characters or circles or something interesting, I'll give you guys some extra credit. But once you guys outline the pencil marks that you created, then you're going to be putting in the information for the actual value scale. Now the very first column on the far left side of my paper, I'm going to title the technique, because that row will be naming the specific technique. Then on the very top row, next to the word technique, you're going to be writing numbers from 1 to 5. That'll signify the varying values that you're going to be creating. Then underneath the technique column, you're going to be writing the names of the specific techniques. The first technique is called shading with a pencil. Then it's shading with a color pencil. Then it's hatching. After that, it's cross hatching. And then after that, the last one is stippling. So now that the value scale is made, it's time for you to go ahead and begin adding the values with a specific technique into each column. I would suggest starting from the top down and then working from the fifth row over to the lightest row. The fifth row should be the darkest, and then the first row should be the lightest. So this one down here, I'm actually working on stippling as the last one that I'm working on. And I used a Sharpie marker. You can use any color marker. I suggest using a marker for stippling, just because it's a little bit easier. Now with stippling, it doesn't mean stabbing the pencil and the table with whatever tool you're using. It is carefully and using controlled movements to create stippling, because you're purposefully placing each dot to create a specific value. So you can see that my number 5 value is the darkest value, and then I'm working my way over. The fifth value took the longest because, of course, the closer the dots are, the more dense the value is. And you're working from the fifth value to the first value. So it's going to take significantly less time as you work to the number 1. And remember, as you're working with stippling, specifically stippling, you're doing controlled movements with your hands. So it's going to be you focusing with whatever tool you're using to create the stippling effect. As you're working through your different varying values, make sure that you step back every once in a while and just look and see if there's a really big drastic difference between one value and another. You might need to go back and rework the value, either adding more lines or taking away more lines, for example on cross-hatching, making sure that the values actually are differing from each other and are getting from dark to light. Scale is done. It's looking beautiful. There's beautiful transitions from one value to the other. At the very end, please make sure you put your name and then take a picture and submit to Canvas.